Hi Sagittarius, this is your astrological prognosis for the year 2012. First, before I start, I always want to warn everyone, always check the prognosis for your ascendant sign as well. You know, everyone knows what their sun sign is. If you're born in if you're born in end of November, for instance, and part of December, your sun was then in Sagittarius. We're talking about Sagittarius today. But people consist of more than one sign. Actually, the sun sign is just one small part of your personality and of your life. You also have an ascendant sign and moon sign. And the ascendant sign, if you go to a professional astrologer, is how he will look at what is going to happen for you for the year ahead based on the ascendant sign prognosis. But also the moon sign is very important, especially women, because women, the moon is a female energy. They identify a lot of women a lot with the sign of their moon. It shows emotions and inner world, an emotional life. So especially if you're interested about your relationships, always check the prognosis also for your moon sign and ascendant sign. But if you don't know the time, if you don't know what your moon or ascendant sign is, you can find them out by going to my website astrolada.com and entering your time of birth, place of birth. And once you have the exact sign of the ascendant, just write the sign and write also the degree where the ascendant stands. Maybe it's 25 degrees of Sagittarius, or if it's your moon in Sagittarius, maybe it's 5 degrees Sagittarius. Write it down and listen if I mention in particular those degrees, because then the prognosis for you for the year 2012 ahead will be particularly relevant and you'll definitely feel those experiences. Anyway, the things, the planets and the cosmic entities, bodies that define our life, our direction in life and what is happening, our destiny, those ones that form our destiny, are basically two planets. One is Jupiter, wherever it passes, relevant to the sign of the ascendant moon or sun. Here we always put it in the first house, in the first place. In Sagittarius is here. And wherever Jupiter is that year relevant to the sign Sagittarius, where your ascendant moon or sun is there, it will bring ease to that area of life. It will expand, it will be positive. And where Saturn is, it's the opposite. It's contraction, it's learning lessons, it's making a lot of effort, its contraction is doubt, as well. Maybe at the beginning it creates doubt as well. And particularly as well, another big shaper of destiny is the eclipses. But only when they happen in your sign or in the sign opposite of yours. And this happens once every 9 years, so I don't include them in all the predictions. But in your case, Sagittarius, eclipses started happening in your sign for the first time in 9 years from this summer, from June. And a lot of you started calling me from June with broken relationships, with a lot of questioning where you're headed, because basically the eclipses were happening in your first, and they always happen in two opposite signs. They always affect the houses, the two opposite houses, because eclipses happen by the opposition of sun, moon, earth. It's kind of complex, but this is where they've been happening, here in your first house and here in your seventh house. And it will continue till the summer, till about the middle of the summer of 2012. And what topics they trigger, these are very important time for you, Sagittarius. Whether it's your ascendant, moon or sun, you will feel it. And what happens is your relationship are quite often very affected, because one part of the eclipses, it's always, we call it the dragon's tail. This is where the energy is emptying. This is where we feel disillusionment, disappointment. We don't feel supported in this part of life. And a lot of you, especially whose ascendants were in Sagittarius, they were calling me when the eclipses were happening. They've been happening since the summer of 2011, and they continue to call me. And this tendency will continue for another 5-6 months till the beginning of the summer, the middle of the summer 2012, where you're letting go of some old unnecessary relationships and attachment to others. And you're trying to empower yourself, because this is where the dragon's tail is, where the dragon's at the back. We let go of all things, this is where excrementation happens. And this is the dragon's head, where the other eclipse is happening. And the dragon's head is where we're trying to empower ourselves, where we'll become more hungry for life. And a lot of you, even though the relationships can be a bit disheartening at this time, a relationship also connected very much to karmic relationships you're experiencing, people that you have karmic finishing karmic responsibilities that you have towards each other. And because always the dragon's tail is a place where we finish something, where we finish karma. So that's why it's letting go of something. And the dragon's head is something where we have new karma and where we're creating new karma. And the first house is the self. Seventh house is relationship. First house is the self, the body, your self-assurance, self-confidence. So for another 5-6 months, you will be having a very serious look at yourself. You're developing your self-confidence. The dragon's head is the part of the horoscope that we develop where it's passing. So it's time for gaining self-confidence. For first house is also your direction in life, where you're headed in life, where you want to be into the future, your projections, your path in life. So a lot of you also are deciding on changing drastically their path in life, and this tendency will continue till 2012, the summer. A lot of you are changing also your image, how you look. You're working on yourself. You're working on your confidence. You're working on where you're headed in life, your path in life. You become more desirous of material achievements because the dragon's head is it's very material, very how do I say, lustful, but in a sense like lusting for life, lusting for achievements, lusting for fulfillment, material fulfillment. So you really start wanting to achieve something in life, to kind of set your path, set a more successful path in life, and you gain this strong desire there. So it's, to some extent, it's quite positive, So you have this energy in your life till the summer of 2012. And after that, the eclipses, and especially those of you who have their ascendant or their moons in Sagittarius from 15 to 0 degree, because the nodes are moving backwards in the opposite direction. So from 0 to 15 degrees, they'll be feeling it in 2012, those topics that I was talking about. Maybe relationships, getting rid of, finishing some old karmic relationships that we no longer need in our life, and getting empowered and finding a new path and direction in your life. Eclipses always get rid of the old and bring the new into your life, whether it's about your self-empowerment and path in life or relationships. Those are the people who feel it more strongly from in 2012. The last 15 degrees already passed. They probably had those experiences already. Or those of you who have their sun who are born actually in the last 15 days, they'll be in the first 15 days of Sagittarius, actually. So this will be the November-born Sagittarius. November Sun, those of you who are born Sun in 0 to 15 degrees Sagittarius, which will be November-born. People born in November. They will feel this energy again of empowerment, of desiring self-empowerment and sorting out the ideas and where they're headed from in 2012 till, from now till the summer. Anyway, this is what the eclipses do. And now let's see what the other movers and shapers of destiny do. These are the Jupiter and Saturn, and Jupiter has an expanding influence, as I said, and Saturn has a contracting influence. And since the summer of 2011, till the summer of 2012, so basically for about a year, Jupiter has been in your 6th house compared to your ascendant, moon, or sun. And the 6th house, and it's going to stay there till June 2012. You're going to have this experience till it started in June 2011, and you have till June 2012 to expand and to work positively on the areas of life of the 6th house. And what does Jupiter do there? 6th house is basically it's our daily routines, and Jupiter can actually help you open yourself more to new daily routines, to actually managing your life and your daily activities with much more joy. 6th house is also working behind the scenes, so a lot of you will be required till the summer of 2012 to work more on perfecting themselves behind the scenes, maybe doing some job that no one recognizes fully, resolving some conflicts, or overcoming some, some technical issues, if it's technical careers, and it's not time to shine exactly, to gain big career respect and respected the work, but it's time for laying groundwork, for working hard, for working behind the scenes, and actually you'll be enjoying it. You'll be enjoying your while perfecting yourself, your skills, while perfecting your abilities, and you will have increased ability to enhanced ability to handle details required to do the job. So again, it's a great time for perfecting skills, for improving any of your abilities that you have, for solving problems. Sixth house is the house of problems, and where Jupiter passes, it helps you handle better the areas of that life. So you'll be able to handle better, resolve problems, or anything that you've been putting away, that you've been trying not to handle. Now you have the more practical mind to do, the more joy of handling the details in those tedious, mundane jobs that you usually don't like doing. And it's also sixth house of routine, so maybe you can improve with much more ease your diet, your daily workout. Maybe you can start a healthier regime, Maybe you can start waking up earlier, doing something positive about your regime that kind of expands your ability to handle your everyday life and activities. And Jupiter will definitely make this experience more joyful. Otherwise, it's quite tedious, to be honest. All those sixth house affairs, taking care of the health, taking care of mundane everyday jobs and work, And also, sixth house is the house of service. It's not house of getting accolades and respect. It's house of serving. So you will be serving more, and any kind of job that requires service and work behind the scene will be favored, and you'll gain joy out of it. This is what Jupiter brings, Or you will be given much more work than normal, but you will thrive in it, You'll become much more efficient and do your job with joy. And after that, from June onwards, Jupiter is going into your seventh house. You see here? From June 2012 till June 2013, approximately for 1 year, Jupiter will be in your seventh house. And I said that the first half of 2012 relationship might be a bit affected still because of the eclipses. The dragon's tail is there. But, from the second part of 2012, any kind of relationships will be healed, because Jupiter, seventh house is house of love and relationship and passion and not romance, but passion, but equal one-to-one partnerships. And what happens is that where Jupiter passes, it expands. So maybe you expand your circle of people that you like close to you. Maybe you get more adorers than you're used to. Maybe you get more than one relationship, or you attract people who are beneficial to you. Lovers are very close one-to-one people that help you somehow in your life. But usually it has to do with intimate relationships, So from the second part of 2012 is really great news, because for the first time in 12 years, Jupiter is in your seventh house of relationships, Sagittarius, and it will bring into your life positive relationship, people who help you expand, who are tolerant, who help you grow, who brings you joy and happiness. You see, Jupiter brings everything with ease and expansion and something positive for you. Or even if you've been in a relationship that is very intolerable till now, and it's been making you feel quite restrained, where Jupiter passes through the seventh house, you'll be finally able to let go of it, and you'll feel happy about it. When Jupiter brings event, it makes you feel positive about it. So if you're suffering in your relationships, it might be just till about the end of the summer of 2012. And especially those of you who have their ascendant or moon in the first 15 degrees of Sagittarius. And then those of you in 2012, from the second part of 2012, will start thriving in relationships, actually. And it's exactly the same people from 0 till 15 degrees of Sagittarius who have their moon. This is the sign of the moon, or their ascendant in 0 to 15 degrees. So the same people who suffered in relation the first part of 2012 will be given an opportunity to attract someone happy and positive for them in the second part. And this is especially relevant, you see, for people who have their moon and ascendant in Sagittarius, because the sun doesn't have so much relationship to intimate one-to-one relationships, You see, that's why it's so important to know your ascendant. And now the last thing that is left is Saturn, the planet that brings contraction where it's passing through. And Saturn moves very slowly. It takes 2.5 years to pass through one sector of life, through those 12 sectors in life. And for the past 2 years almost, Saturn has been in your 11th house. And it's going to stay there till October 2012. So the topics you've been experiencing in that area of life will continue till the October, till October 2012. And Saturn contracts the area that it passes through. And 11th house is often to do with social interaction. So maybe in the past 2 years, we've been cutting off people that are no longer necessary in your life, like friends who are not really there for you, or getting into much more serious friendships than normal, friendships that are based on relying on each other, on being responsible to each other. Also, it's about social responsibility. Saturn brings responsibilities, effort, contraction, but also duties. Duties, and duties, you might have been more responsible for friends of yours, maybe taking care of some friends, or just getting yourself into organizations that are much more to do about social responsibility generally, about tackling important topics in life, tackling important ideals and topics, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting distracted a bit. And Saturn may be contracted, so a circle of friends kind of became smaller, or it became more focused on serious issues rather than on joyful experiences. So more was restricted more to people that are connected to work and responsibilities in your life. So because Saturn is connected also to work and karmic responsibilities, and so much more seriousness in your interaction with others. 11th house, also interaction. I'm talking friendships, or social interactions, not love relationships. And also 11th house is the house of earnings from your career or earnings from your business, and Saturn maybe contracted that. Maybe you had to be more careful about or maybe you couldn't receive the salary you wanted for the past almost 2 years or year and a half. You couldn't really get what you thought you deserved, 11th house is also the house of honors and titles. Maybe you've been struggling very hard to gain an honor and title. Maybe you've been working, because Saturn Saturn can give you a lot, but only through a lot of effort and a lot of responsibilities. So even if you got any title or dignity or any kind of increase in salary or increase in remuneration from like your business or earnings from business or career, then it gave it with lots of hard work and little by piecemeal. It didn't give it to you as a, like Jupiter would give with ease, without putting much effort, like a award. Saturn always gives through your own effort. And from October 2012, Saturn is moving into your 12th house. And it will stay there for 2.5 years. And especially from October, you start feeling like it's a process of endings, because Saturn takes 30 years to go around this whole circle and come back to your sign of Sagittarius. And in 2014, approximately, Saturn will enter your sign of Sagittarius, when you will become a very big cycle, different cycle of your life. So from 2012, the end, till 2014, it will be a time of letting go, a finishing cycle, ending certain things that are no longer relevant in your life. Some of you might start feeling confused because, they're already dissatisfied with where they're heading in their life, because they've achieved the full circle and they no longer gain the same fulfillment and satisfaction from the things that used to give them and give them meaning and fulfillment before. So they'll have, when Saturn comes into the first house, to sort out and to find themselves and reinvent themselves again. But we'll talk about that later, when Saturn really starts getting into your 12th house. We have still time to work on the issues of the 11th house, which is social responsibilities, which is working hard to earn titles, to improve your earnings financially, which can be quite contracted, And I think that's the whole of the year 2012. If I've missed something, you can just keep following my monthly prognosis, where I will break up the prognosis by piecemeal so you understand better what is happening. And hope you enjoyed 2012.